Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, that's a good way to look at it. That's a good point, man. But how you feel about Diddy bail being denied and him getting put on suicide watch?
First of all, the no bail, completely racist. Look at all of the white celebrities charged with worse who got their bail. Vince McMahon didn't even get arrested. Donald Trump didn't even get arrested. If I'm not mistaken, Harvey Weinstein made bail. Harvey Weinstein had way more victims than Sean Combs. He made bail. How can Sean Combs be a flight risk, Art, when everybody on the planet Earth knows his name and knows his face? He has children that I'm sure he want to see again. Okay. Everybody knows what he looks like. How in the hell can Sean Combs be a flight risk? The reason Puff was not given bail is this whole this whole prosecution is more about humiliating him than it is about finding him guilty of any crimes. Don't get me wrong. They plan to find him guilty of crimes because they're going to trump the evidence, but they have to humiliate him. They say they're not letting him out because we don't want him to be able to badger or coerce witnesses to drop out, pay him off, but he can do that through a third party. He can do that through a third party. He still gets his prison visits, Art. He still gets his prison. What did the mafia do? What does any criminal enterprise do? They arrange for the payoffs during their prison visits. They don't have to be free. So this ain't got nothing to do with him coercing witnesses because he has enough people in his network that can happen anyway. The reason Puff isn't being given bail is they want to humiliate, humble, and disgrace him. And I'm going to tell you something. The one thing he should have done, and I don't condone any of the acts he's alleged of. I want to be very clear, especially and especially sex trafficking, if he's guilty. And to that point, Art, to that point, why haven't we been privy to any evidence? Now, they're claiming the reason you haven't seen any evidence is because the trial hasn't started, right? But didn't we get evidence of R. Kelly's misdealings before the trial started? Didn't we get evidence of Bill Cosby's misdealings before the trial started? Didn't we get evidence of Michael Jackson's alleged misdealings before the trial started? So how are they going to tell us that you're not getting no evidence because the trial hasn't started? That hasn't been the way y'all traditionally do business. Normally, when y'all have dirt on black men, everybody gets it as soon as you get it. But because of Sean Combs, we're not giving the public any evidence until the trial starts. I'm going to be honest with you, Art. I'm not sure they have much evidence. I'm not sure they have much evidence. Remember, this is not really about the commission of a crime. What Puffy did, although I do not and never will condone it, what Puffy did is everyday behavior in the music industry. It's everyday behavior in Hollywood. So we clearly know it's not about what he did, because this is what they do. This is about an Illuminati takedown by Diego because you disrespected the global white power structure. And not only the global white power structure, the British Anglo-Saxon white power structure. And you have to be made to pay for that. The suicide watch. Is he already potentially suicidal? It's possible, Art, but I'm going to say not yet because he has children. And one thing I can say about Sean Combs, and I'm no defender of anyone who is guilty of those crimes he's being charged with, but has not yet been proven. One thing I can say about Sean Combs, from what I've seen, I don't know him. He loves his children. From what I've seen, he loves his children. And for that reason, I do not see him committing suicide because of the love he has for his children. Although they're all young adults, they're still babies. And I don't think Puff wants to leave his children in this world with the type of enemies that he has. I mean, look what happened, rest in peace, to Whitney Houston and her daughter. You understand me? So without Puff around, who knows what people will try to do to get at whatever little is left of his empire after he's convicted, if he's convicted. I don't think he wants to leave his children in this world defenseless like that with the kind of enemies he got, black and white. I don't think he want to do that. Now, I can see the power structure falsely claiming that he's on suicide watch if, God forbid, they try to take him out of here. I could definitely see them using the media. Look what they did with Jeffrey Epstein. They said he committed suicide. Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide. Jeffrey Epstein was murdered because he said, I'm not going down by myself. Does that sound like somebody who about to kill themselves, or does that sound like somebody who's about to get revenge?
Revenge.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm concerned for the brother's safety more than I am worried about a potential suicide. And let me tell you the mistake Puff made that Jay-Z did not make. And I am not accusing Jay-Z of anything. I want to be clear. But let's say hypothetically, if Sean Carter had any skeletons in his closet, one of the most effective things he did to clean up them skeletons and seal off those skeletons, Art, he got married and created a family. One thing you see Caucasian men do, Art, they might be cross-dressers, they might be homosexuals, they might be pedophiles, they might be murderers. What do all white males in the public eye do to make sure they're protecting their image legally and publicly? They get a wife and they have children. They build family. Look at them. Every last one of them build a wife. They might marry a prostitute, but they are going to have a wife and they are going to have children because it protects their public image from the types of accusations that Sean Combs has. Look at T.I. and Tiny. And I'm not accusing my brother Tip or my sister Tiny of anything. But as you know, they've been accused of things that they were innocent of, and shout out to them. They were cleared of that nonsense. People walked away from it. Charges were dropped. However it happened, T.I. and Tiny is still together and they still free. And I'm happy for both of them because they're one of our strongest young black couples. But when that whole ordeal was being pushed on T.I. and Tiny about how they were doing this and that in the privacy of their own bedroom, which is none of our business, you know what really helped them? The fact that they were married, they were united, they had a family, and they had children. You cannot underestimate the power of perception when it comes to you being accused of sexual crimes, whether you're innocent or guilty. That is the one thing Sean Combs should have learned. It's a lesson he should have learned, and he learned it too late. Get married, build family. And I'm not saying Sean Carter only married Beyonce for that. I'm not saying, I believe he loved his sister. T.I. and Tiny been together since the beginning. So we know that wasn't a Hollywood marriage. That's real black love right there. I'm simply saying, if you're going to be out here doing the things that Puffy does, get your ass a wife and build a family. He had the children, Art, but he didn't have the wife. And that is what hurt him. Now, he was married to Kim Porter, I think, right? Or what have you. But after she transitioned, rest in peace to her, he should have gotten him another wife. If you're going to be out here wilding like this, bro, get your ass a wife so at least your public image is protected. Sean Combs had a public image of being a freak, and that did not help him in this situation.